Oops, we did it again. We made a podcast about Britney Spears and her dirty conservatorship. It really, really sucks. She can't get her IUD out because her dad is a big butt.
Wow.
Wow.
Welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah.
That was cringeworthy. I loved it.
I liked it.
I bet everyone that's listening was like, yes.
It flowed. It came out of me from my heart.
The old pumper, huh? Mm-hmm. Right on.
Pumped it right out.
I really loved that. Well, welcome back to the podcast. This is Five's a Crowd. There's the five of us. There's Cam. There's Chris.
Hello.
There's me, Austin. There's Tony, and there's Zach.
Hola.
Hope you guys are tuning in on YouTube. If not, we enjoy you all the same. But today we're going to be talking about Britney Spears. There's been a lot of news coming out about her conservatorship. She put forth, a trial? She requested a trial to end her conservatorship. A lot of crazy stuff's been happening about it.
Sounds like she does, this happens, I feel, almost every, couple weeks. Because she has another one in the middle of July.
Wait, she has a constant trial about her conservatorship ending?
I think she keeps petitioning to get out of it.
As one would.
Yeah.
That audio isn't an actual petition. She's saying it's a formal statement saying that she's going to put in a petition.
Yes.
Well, yeah, but in the audio she says I petition and stuff like that. So she's basically saying to the judge what she's wanting to petition, what she wants to happen.
I'd like to put in a petition for this and this and this. Yeah.
Is it the judge that's shooting her down?
Yeah.
Is that who has the right to say yes or no? I'll hear your claim or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But the judge this time denied her saying that it was an official petition. So kind of
how can she have
in another court with it?
How can she have an official petition when her conservator won't allow her to,
or won't let her have a lawyer to petition that's not approved by her conservatorship?
Oh, that's right. We'll get into this.
Yes.
I real quick wanted to say, so we don't confuse anybody out there in case anything comes out afterwards, we're talking about this. It's July 1st.
Yes.
And so just in case anything happens and you guys are watching this going, well, you didn't cover this or that, it's because it either hasn't come out yet or depending on how fast we can get this podcast out.
Yeah.
And if so, there'll be a Britney Spears Volume 3.
Yes. I wanted to mention where we're at on the timeline on all this.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, good call.
Does someone want to give a brief explanation of what's all been happening? Say they have never heard of the Free Britney movement. Do we want to give a brief synopsis on what's been happening?
Yeah, I can do that. So basically, we did a podcast not too long ago where we talked about the Free Britney movement. Now, what this is basically since 2008, Britney Spears has been in a conservatorship under her father, Jamie Spears. Now, what that means is Britney has no control over her money, her estate, and essentially her body at this point.
Yeah, right.
She has to go through doctors, lawyers, judges. Her dad has to make final decisions. She is not allowed to do anything without somebody else's say. And we'll actually get a little bit deeper in this because some new stuff has come to light, such as a recording of Britney Spears actually petitioning, like we mentioned, to a Los Angeles Superior Court judge trying to end her 13-year conservatorship.
Yes.
Yep.
And the whole thing. Oh, go. Do you have?
I was just saying. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I just said I can't believe it. That's it.
So the whole thing is just crazy because actually I can't say it better than this. I should have taken note, but someone left us a comment on our previous episode, and this really paints it perfectly. And they said the smoking gun in this situation is that Britney is under a probate conservatorship and not an LPS conservatorship.
What's the difference?
Probate conservatorships are for elders with dementia and other degenerative diseases, whereas LPS conservatorships are for people with only mental illnesses. Only in probate conservatorships can conservators have control of their conservatees' finances, and it only be approved in a court by one judge. in contrast to an LPS conservatorship, which has to be reapplied for and approved each and every year. So when people say, well, maybe she has a mental illness, so she needs it, they don't realize that it isn't even what they are arguing in court. Her father filed court papers in 2008, get this, saying that she had dementia at the age of 26.
Jeez.
Which would make her the youngest dementia victim in history.
Oh my gosh.
So I read that and I was like, oh, snap. That is crazy.
Yeah.
Dang.
Jacked. That is so messed up.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, we mentioned it in the other one. He was never a big part
Of her life.
unless he knew he was going to be making money off of her.
Right.
Because remember, even as a kid, like, he didn't want to send her to learn how to sing and stuff unless his money was worth it and that he was going to be getting something out of it, like her, essentially
He'd just
becoming a
pop
pop
in
star.
every once in a while, make sure she was on the rise. Mm-hmm. Yep.
See, and I'm not gonna lie, this whole thing when we started talking about it, it's like, oh, here we go. Like, I thought it was just something stupid pop culture-y, but it's come down to civil rights, like her civil rights.
Yeah.
And so now I'm pretty invested in this, thinking this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, because she's like a modern slave.
Yeah, exactly.
She's a slave in our modern society.
Don't say it.
Sorry.
For you? Yes. Not for me. It's funny. We all collectively thought it.
Gosh.
Yup. We all sing it.
I saw him going into the mic.
I see the freaking yellow boa right now in the green bikini.
Now, here's the question. When was that made? When was that song made? Do you think that was like
Hinting?
a hint
Like
of what's
an
happening?
unfortunate hint of the future.
Because when did this conservatorship start?
2008 conservatorship. I love that. We're gonna start calling it that.
Yes.
Slave for You was released in 2001.
So
long time
foreshadowing.
ago. Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
20 years ago, dude.
Glad I created a word for you.
That made me
sickening.
feel old.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Okay.
Goodness.
What?
That was awesome. That was great.
I just love that I caught you in the act.
But I will say, so we've listened to this recording, and if you want to listen to it, you can easily find it if you just Google like Britney Spears statement to the court or Britney Spears statement recording. It's really easy to find because this is the first time since 2018 that we've heard directly from her, other than her super creepy like Instagram stuff.
page, yeah.
Well, yeah, and her father and whoever runs her conservatorship are all controlling of her Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have to approve everything that she posts. So even then, it's all been filtered.
Yep.
Yeah, they're in control of
So
everything.
with that being said, how did she get this video out?
Well, that and all it is a recording. It's not a video over. It's
Alright,
it's the recording from the actual like courtroom.
Oh,
Like it's
someone-
full on recording. I honestly, maybe we should look into it real quick. I don't know if this was just put out by her or if somebody leaked it. So I'll look
It would
more
have
into
to
that.
be leaked.
I think it was leaked.
It would have to be.
It would make sense.
Because if you're listening to the audio, it's the actual audio from the mic feed.
Yeah, it's
like
great.
you can tell
The
it's the
audio's
high
fantastic.
quality. So it's not like a cell phone recording in the room. It's the actual audio feed from the mic that she's speaking into.
Yeah.
As well as the judge.
Exactly.
So someone behind the scenes had to have leaked it.
It's the lady was it the judge? Yeah, talking about telling her basically that she needs to slow down so that the person that types everything can get it all.
And she never
typed
slowed
out.
down.
She
if
tried.
anything, it only sped her up.
Oh, yeah.
She probably had so much pent up rage that she just had to get it all out. I mean,
Yeah. It says that the transcript was it's viewable by the public, but the actual audio was leaked, is what it's saying.
Yeah.
okay.
Which I'm glad the audio was leaked because she sounds very cool and collected in it, and
Yeah.
not off
like
her
the
rocker
Instagram.
at all.
Now, also, while you're listening to it, though, didn't it also kind of sound like she was reading all of her thoughts off of a paper, though?
Well,
Yeah.
she says that actually in the very beginning. She wrote it all down on across 4 pieces of paper.
Yeah.
Because she was so frustrated from the last time that she was in court, and she's like, I haven't been back to court in a long time because I don't think I was heard on any level when I came to court last time. I brought 4 sheets of paper in my hand and wrote in length what I had been through in the last 4 months before I came here.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and like you pointed out, this, after seeing her Instagrams when we did our last podcast, like she doesn't have that weird cutesy voice on. It's like super high pitched. Like it's still a little different than I remember as a kid, but it's not that weird fake vibe that you got from the Instagram video. She does sound
bubbly.
very coherent and like she knows what she's talking about. I mean, it's not the most eloquent speech or anything, and there may be some grammar, but honestly, I think she was just a little flustered. Obviously, a little excited to get this out, you know, and nervous and whatnot. So she stumbles a little bit, but honestly, it sounds so good.
Well, and to that argument, right? What better way as an argument to continue the conservatorship than when you're in control of her Instagram and to make her look insane?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like only post the stuff that makes her look crazy.
Yeah.
You know, it kind of goes back on how we were saying on some of the political stuff we've talked about in the past, how they make him out to be this crazy person to kind of give justification on, you know, why they're being punished.
Yeah.
And
You're going to believe less if you think that she's crazy.
it's like, oh, she's actually crazy. Well, we don't want her to be with her children and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wouldn't look well on Jamie and the other conservators and whoever's in charge of it if she actually looked like a sane person.
Well, even in the audio as well, she's talking really fast and like, hey, you need to slow it down. Our interpreter who's typing it can't keep up with you. And she's like, I'm sorry. Like she's fully comprehending.
Like she's not argumentative or anything.
Fully comprehending, saying, okay, and then even catches herself, okay, I'm speaking fast again. I got to slow down. Like saying, you know, so she's very aware of the situation and what she's saying.
Yeah. And she starts out, like after mentioning the paper she has, she starts out by saying that the people who did this to her should not be able to walk away easily.
Yeah.
Like she wants the people punished for the stuff she's been through. She starts by mentioning back in 2018, she was on tour, but she was basically forced to be on tour.
Yeah.
She didn't want to be. But the company that she was touring with, they basically threatened to sue her if she didn't go on tour. Her own management threatened to sue her if she didn't go on tour. They said that that she has to find an attorney and by contract her own management could sue them or could sue her if she didn't fulfill the full tour.
Jeez.
Yeah. And that was the Vegas deal, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that was the next one because they handed her a sheet of paper and they basically forced her to sign it, but she couldn't get to her attorney, and they were being like, she says they were very threatening, very, very scary. And with the conservatorship, I couldn't even get my own attorney, like we kind of mentioned. So out of fear, she just signed it and did the tour.
Yeah, what kind of crap is that you can't even get your own attorney in a conservatorship?
Yeah, that's one of the most messed up things that she mentions in here is that she is not allowed to choose her attorney.
That makes no sense. Like personal representation stripped from you.
But it makes perfect sense for the people in control of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like
But
even
that's so dirty.
Yeah.
even an
It's
actual
wrong.
criminal, like when they're being read their rights, they have the right to choose an attorney.
Yeah.
And she's not even a criminal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Ted Bundy got to represent himself, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is messed up.
It's insane. This is one of those things that you listen to and like you just can't believe it's real.
Yeah.
That this could happen in our
I mean, the pure
justice
society.
system. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the pure fact that in that long speech that she gave, she even mentions that she didn't know that she could request, was it a board or a trial?
Yeah,
To remove her
She didn't know that
conservatorship?
she could request, like, try to repeal her conservatorship.
Like that right there suggests foul play on the lawyer side of things.
Yes.
Because a lawyer would be
100%.
like,
They're supposed to be
just
out for
repeal
you.
it.
There's no way he's not. The lawyers are not on.
he's
it.
in
There's
on it.
no way the doctors are not in on
No.
it. No way.
Everybody's getting a paycheck somewhere.
Piece of junks.
Because again, days after this was put forward, the judge, like we just found out, what was it, like yesterday or the day before, that the judge denied her appeal to get rid of her dad as conservator. So this whole thing was denied. And it's all because, like you said, the lawyer has to petition it. Mm-hmm. But the lawyer that they choose, he's not going to petition it.
No.
Why would he do it?
I feel like
he's on the payroll.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I feel like the judge, like, let's say this judge is on the up and up and they're strictly just denying it because it's not a lawyer requesting it. It's like, okay, put aside the fact it's not a lawyer requesting this. Listen to this poor girl's pleas and do what is right. You know what I mean? Like, civilly.
At what point does, like, governing law become almost contradictory?
Yeah.
Oh, all the time.
Well, yes. But I mean, like, at what point does a judge overrule law?
I don't think they can.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's so dirty.
Well, look at what just happened. Again, not a couple days ago, freaking Bill Cosby was released from prison.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Right? Yeah. And it's
on a
because...
technicality. Anyways.
Exactly. It's because when you go before a judge, unfortunately, the judge, most of the time, the judge isn't looking and saying, is this a good or a bad person? They're looking at the actual system and the things in place presented by lawyers.
They're looking at
evidence, law, all this stuff, and they have to uphold the law.
And who can ever plead to the law the most to make sense to them?
Exactly.
They keep all emotion out of it.
Yeah.
Which sucks because you get in a situation like this where obviously she should not be in a conservatorship, but because the judge has to follow the law, they can't just come out and just break it. They can't just be like, "No, you're out."
Yeah. But it's a catch-22 because they have to follow the law saying that your lawyer has to petition. Well, they've got a shady lawyer, which I don't know if he's shady. He's shady. Saying
The dude's definitely dirty.
Here's my question. What would happen if she just somehow ran away? What if she just escaped and ran away?
She can't.
I don't think it'd plead her case either.
Well, I get that, but she's not getting out of this, it sounds like. So what would happen if she just took off?
If she just disappeared.
Yeah, just disappeared and took off.
So that's the thing. So another thing that this whole recording honestly kind of confirms a lot of our suspicions in the other podcasts, like things we might have thought are going on, why she's acting a certain way, doing certain things. She goes on to talk about, so not only was she forced to go on tour, forced to sign a deal for another Vegas tour, but ultimately that one was ended. That's the one where she like came out on, everyone waited for her. She came out on stage and just walked down and got in the car and left.
Yeah.
Which was, in my opinion, a strike move. You know what I mean? Not somebody who's unstable. Somebody just saying, screw this.
But I think they even finally did decide like that she didn't have to do it because she was saying she needed a break and all this stuff. And but basically she's always surrounded by people. So she always has.
And how do you run away?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Like, especially someone who is as famous and popular as she is, like, you're going to be popping up on social media feeds everywhere. And not only that, but she has no money.
Yeah.
She has no control over it.
Yeah.
Well, and not to mention, too, her kids. She wouldn't leave her kids. She'd have to run away with her kids, and that's obviously going to make it impossible on top of impossible.
She talks about how in the last time she was in the courtroom, immediately after, even though this was supposed to be all like private or even when she goes to this certain therapist doctor, paparazzi's there waiting for her to snap pictures. So, I mean, they always find her. And if they can find her, they just found her on her vacation right after this very recording.
Yeah.
Well, she's in Hawaii, right?
Exactly. And if they can find her, the family's going to find her easily. They're going to be able to send people like marshals looking for her. You know, I'm sure there's some sort of law against breaking conservatorship.
All these people who are on the Free Britney thing, they pose as paparazzi. They bombard her with a bunch of cameras and everything. And then in the midst of all the crazy flashing and everything, she slips out somewhere secretive with her kids. And then the paparazzi disperses and she's gone. Like
then
a magic
she's got
trick.
kidnapping charges. Like, That's a bad
Yeah,
idea.
Like the illusionist.
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, with that whole therapist, she said in the recording, she wanted a therapist to come to her home so she could do it in private. But they made it so she had to go to a well-known, well-traveled area to where she goes in to where paparazzi can be there waiting for her and know where she's at exactly. So it's like they're tormenting her to a degree in all this.
Yeah.
Why can't they? I mean, that's a simple request. Have the therapist, they've got the money, have the therapist come to her home and do therapy for her.
Right.
Instead of making her go out in public to this area that people know or is well known for celebrity therapists and just be bombarded. It's crazy.
And she mentions how, like, during the preparation for the Vegas show and all this stuff, she's doing like 4 days a week of rehearsal. She's going to the studio the rest of the time. She's directing the choreography herself. Like, she's doing everything, teaching everyone how to dance, coming up with the dances, all this stuff. Like, she takes her work very seriously. And we saw that in just looking at her in her prime of her career. She always talked to, everyone talked very highly about how she directed everything. She didn't need a choreographer. She was the choreographer, all this stuff. She puts in a lot of work to get these things done. Well, her management would go to like some of these trials and claim that she was doing nothing, claim that she wasn't helping, claim that she wasn't participating, like she was being like kind of lazy with her rehearsals and her practice and all this stuff. And they would say that she didn't take her medication, and she claims that her medication is supposed to be taken in the morning, so she wouldn't even need to take them in the rehearsal places. So there's no way that they would actually know or be able to see if she wasn't. Yeah. So they're all like making these claims against her.
Well, wasn't her dad? Didn't we say in the last podcast her dad was making something to the tune of like $600,000 a year for
something like that, making a lot of money, and that's what she says.
You're telling me there's no personal interest in that? I mean, It's just common sense.
Well, and that's the thing, is she makes that claim a lot in this. She's like, how does it make sense that all these people around me who are watching me day and night, are watching her change like completely naked into different clothes constantly, like always there, putting her in a room with a therapist for like 4 hours in these tiny rooms, and she's paying all these people.
Yeah.
And the interesting part about that too is she even claims in there that she still needs therapy.
Yeah.
Like she wants therapy, but she wants her own therapist.
Exactly. Yeah. She wants to choose.
Like she obviously knows that she is damaged in some way. I mean, who wouldn't be after being put into this kind of a situation? But I think that in itself speaks volumes in that she's aware and cognizant of everything that she's going through, and that she is a little broken because of this.
Oh yeah. And I mean, because she mentions in one of the rehearsals, she said no to a dance move, and she claims everyone acted like she just planted a huge bomb. They all went into another room and shut the door for 45 minutes. Like everyone, all the dancers, management, everybody, assistants, all gone for 45 minutes. And then basically came out like trying to figure out what to do, or probably how to get her to do the dance moves they want her to. But she claims, she's like, I'm not here to be anyone's slave. She says that multiple times. She talks about the therapist, Dr. Benson is his name. He apparently died, but apparently he was abusive to her.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really messed up.
Like verbally or?
Probably mentally, emotionally, verbally, I'm sure.
Man.
Oh yeah, because he was one of the guys. He was basically the doctor that would make her like be in this room for like an hour, like 4 hours. She says he's the one who switched her medication. So because the people like the managers and the staff and stuff that would go to him and say she wasn't participating in rehearsals, she wasn't doing anything, all this stuff, he changed her medication to lithium.
Yeah.
Which is like a super heavy medication. One, it's in the freaking very batteries that power your phone.
I was going to say, is that the same stuff?
It's gotta be. Like it's insane. Like, I mean, these chemicals, can make batteries, and they're also for human consumption. I looked it up, and it says that lithium is used for bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
And here are these common side effects of lithium: hand tremors, so being kind of shaky and stuff, increased thirst, increased urination, diarrhea, vomiting, weight gain, impaired memory, poor concentration, drowsiness, muscle weakness, hair loss, acne, decreased thyroid function.
Wow.
Jeez.
And apparently this doctor just switched her to it. She'd never been on it before, but he switched her onto it because he needed something heavier. And she claims that it made her feel like she was drunk most of the time.
Yeah.
You know, and we mentioned that a lot of her videos, she looks out of it. She looks drugged.
Oh,
Sheesh.
big time.
Yeah.
And this definitely, I think, would be the cause of that.
Corresponds with the video for sure. But I mean that she understands that, hey, this is making me feel drunk and everything. I mean, it just all goes to show that I think she's there. You know what I mean? I think she's just stuck in this web.
Ugh. Makes me sick.
Me too.
I'm just trying to like get myself in that headspace of like what kind of person I would be in those circumstances.
I'd be a rabid dog, man. I'd be so angry.
Well, like kind of on that, I was thinking, so what would stop her from being out on on tour on a show, and you know she's in front of millions of people or whatever, and what if she just stopped in the song and used that opportunity to just scream out help, you know, just
And probably have control of the mic.
it's
Probably all lip
just
syncing.
cut the mic
Like her
immediately.
sister.
I mean, what if
Wait,
she
was her
hops off the
sister?
stage and runs out
Never mind, I'm
into
thinking
the
of someone
audience? I don't know. I guess people would probably lose their
Again,
minds.
Like,
but-
you paint the narrative there. Oh, Britney Spears has massive meltdown, freaks out,
Yeah.
mentally unstable.
that's
You
true.
know,
Yeah.
the people in power paint this situation that makes her look terrible.
Media
Yeah.
sucks.
It does. It's garbage. And you also look at this, because I've been thinking about it too, like, because she mentions that she, in her videos, she pretends to be happy. Because she thought if she told herself she was happy so many times and she pretended over and over that she would be happy. So in her videos on Instagram and stuff, she's genuinely trying to force herself to feel a way that she hasn't felt in years.
Yeah.
And think about this. Let's say you're locked in a compound, essentially your house, with multiple people, and all those people are telling you that you're crazy. Constantly. Always telling you're crazy.
Like-
How long until you actually believe it?
That attests to her strength. I was gonna. At what point would I give up? I mean, like, whatever, you know.
No kidding.
But
the fact
she's
that
still-
she's still trying.
Yeah. That's a strong woman.
Very
That's crazy.
resilient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
you come in and you say 2 + 2 is 4, and I say no, it's 5. But then you're like, no, that's not. Clearly that's stupid. No, that's not right. But then you go to Zach and you're like, can you believe Cameron said 2 + 2 is 5? And he's like, it is. And then Austin, and then Chris. Like, how long until you're like, well, crap. Like, I guess it is.
Kind of lose grasp of
You know,
reality.
like your reality is being controlled 100% of the time.
gaslighted.
The information you're given is 100% controlled.
What was that show? There was some show where they would do that. They would do those psych tests on just random people. Like they'd go. One that really sticks out in my memory is they had an office setting where every time a bell dinged,
Mind
they would
games.
stand up
Yep.
Isn't it?
and then they'd sit back down. It might have been mind games. I
They've
don't know.
done
brain
some in
games.
brain games. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. And all of a sudden, you know, but 5 of the people are paid actors. And every time the bell would ring, they'd all stand up and they'd all sit down. And pretty soon they had these bystanders just coming in, not knowing, but they'd start to conform. And then pretty soon they cycled out all the actors, and all that was left was just these bystanders that had walked into a situation and started doing it because it's what was done before them.
I remember.
And it's like, you're brainwashing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as simple as a little bell going off.
Yeah.
Like that's all it takes. Well, the bell and then
The social pressure.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I remember one of the guys was like, wow, why are we doing this? He was like, oh, we're doing it because they did it. I don't know. Like there was no reason.
It makes you wonder. Like I like to think I'm a strong person when it comes to that, and I don't get sucked in. But I mean, really, if you walked into a situation like that, especially one, because in my head, I'd probably just justify it by like, oh, who cares? I'm not hurting anybody. Sure, I'll stand up and sit down. Why not? Yeah. And like, I would just kind of justify it. But then like, yeah, the deeper meaning is I just got sucked into this. Like, I don't know.
I'd like to think I'd stay seated and just be like, either this is dumb or, ooh, I bet if I do the opposite, I'll get something. Like, you know, my brain will be like, maybe this is one of those things.
It's one of the, like that Modern Family episode where they're not supposed to press the button. You haven't seen it? Well, they're in a room with a red button, and they're like, we're in one of those tests where we're not supposed to press the button. And so the entire time they're thinking they're in a test, and they're not.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say, though, on the whole strong woman thing, the fact that even with all this pressure being told she's crazy and everything around her, it kind of goes back to even her beginning of her career, how it talked about she blew up in a world of boy bands. And here she is, a standalone female pop star in a world of boy bands, and she climbed to the top, and she did it. And she was strong and powerful in her choreography, everything. She knew exactly what she wanted from day one, and she got it. And I feel like that's exactly how it is now. She is, I don't know, I feel like she is like is it epitome? Is that the word? She's the epitome of power. Like that's just.
She's the pop princess.
Yeah.
Pop queen. Move over, Beyonce.
Yeah.
Never liked her as much as
Beyonce
Britney.
doesn't have to move over because she was never there.
Controversy. I like it. And I agree. But yeah, so when she was put on the new medication, there were 6 nurses that basically moved into her house and were there to watch her the whole time. They wouldn't let her get in her car and go anywhere for a whole month. Just wouldn't let her do anything.
I picture the Silent Hill nurses.
Probably, dude.
Like
Anything that happened to her had to be approved by her dad. And so everything had to be approved by him, but he acted like he didn't know what was going on. But she knew that he always had the final say. He had to approve everything. So she talks about how she cried to him for like hours on the phone, and that he loved every minute of it.
Oh my gosh.
Her family did nothing. Like they did nothing to help her.
Do you think do you think he's in a way equally brainwashed into thinking he truly is doing the right thing for her?
No.
Or do you think he is a sick person and he's all in it for the money?
I think he's in it for the money.
Because I mean,
he could try to. Convince himself.
One way or another, he's sick because a decent father, a sane father, would never do something like this to their child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I think of, I myself, I'm a father of a couple daughters now, but like I think of Brinley, and if she were to grow up being this pop star, things like that, I wouldn't do anything like, at least not to this point. Sure, there would be points where I would want to kind of hold her back for protection and everything, but this is beyond anything. This is crazy. Well, and so you have to think either he truly believes he is helping her, or he is a sick person that does not love her as a daughter, and she is just business.
Can I say one point to that?
Yeah.
He's getting $600,000. Who'd want to take that from your child every year?
That's
thinking you're doing
point.
the best thing for her.
Well,
I don't think he.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there. Yeah.
I think they're,
Well, and to another point too, if you are a great parent and your child loves you, they're going to take care of you. You know what I mean? Like with her kind of money coming in, there's no question in my mind that she wouldn't take care of her family.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you always see it in the NFL. First thing, running back wants to do is buy his mama a house and a car, and it's just like, if you're a great parent, it's going to pay you back.
Yeah.
You don't have to hunt for it and squeeze the freaking life out of it.
Yeah.
she mentions that it's basically a control issue. Like the satisfaction that he gets over controlling someone, as you mentioned, as powerful as her. Like she's a powerful woman. Money, fame, influence, all of that, and he has control over her. So he's got to have this weird, sick obsession with control.
The ultimate power. It's like, oh, you think she's this powerful? Well, I've got control over that.
Everything. Exactly.
Yeah,
she mentions like during her Christmas vacation, there was a lady that would come into her home for 4 hours every day and do a psych test on her. Every day.
At what point do they just go, you know what? Let's psych test the dad.
For real.
Like, get an outsider's opinion, test the dad.
You gotta think, he's gotta be just this smooth talking, just dirty, slimy douchebag.
With all the people involved,
D-bag daddy.
with all the people involved, you'd think that at least one would have to be on the level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess just that quick though, they could be rid of them. You know, if they call in a therapist that actually is like, oh, Brittany's fine. You know, she's definitely got a mental health issue because of all the crap she's gone through. But like all in all, she's fine. Like that quick. Oh, we need a new therapist. We need a second opinion.
Yeah.
And
Well, why wouldn't they speak out either? You know what I mean? Saying, hey, I went and evaluated her. You don't hear any of that.
See, and I know that's
Yeah, like
I would hate to think that everybody has a price. You know, like if someone comes in truly fine and they say, yeah, she's fine, then all of a sudden they're kicked out, and it's like, hey, you know what? We're gonna pay you X amount of money to just keep your mouth shut. You know, it's like, thank you for your review on her. We appreciate it. We're done though. We don't need to see you again. Here's blah, blah, blah money. Keep your mouth shut.
Well, and here's the problem too, is for therapists, you're held to a degree of privacy.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like you're not allowed to make things public due to, what is it, HIPAA?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so it's like they could be sued
Lose their licenses,
tremendously.
And it's kind of like a doctor, how they take that sworn oath to save a life, even if it's somebody they truly hate or whatever, as a doctor.
Yeah, the Hippocratical? Is
yeah,
that what it is?
Hippocratic, yeah.
Hippocratical.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean also, and I mean this is straight up just speculation, but you could easily also threaten people.
Yeah.
Threaten families, threaten, relations, whatever.
See,
If money doesn't work, there's always
I think that's where I would be. I feel like I'm a good enough person that I couldn't be bought out, but if you started to threaten my family, I'm afraid I'd keep my mouth shut, because in the end, family's most important.
Exactly. But she also goes on to talk again that they worked her 7 days a week, so forced her to work. She mentions that the only other people who are working that much are sex traffickers, like sex trafficked people.
Yeah.
Like they force them to work that often. She was surrounded, like I said, by nurses, by 24/7 security. She had a chef come in and cook for her every day. They all watched her change, like completely naked. She had no privacy in her room. She had to give 8 gallons of blood a week.
What?
Jeez.
8 gallons?
Gallons?
That's what she says.
Is that even possible?
That's a lot.
8 gallons of blood a week.
That's a freaking lot.
That's more than a gallon of blood a day.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
I don't think that is possible.
That
Maybe
can't
I
be.
thought when I
8
heard it,
vials, maybe?
I thought that's what she said was vials.
It's transcribed as gallons, so she might have. I mean, there are a couple times when she scrambles her words, but she probably meant vials. But even still, 8 vials of blood a week is a lot.
What kind of blood tests are they running?
Exactly. Like, what's the point? What is it doing? How is this helping
make
her?
sure she has the
Probably
medication.
checking to make sure the lithium levels are right.
Seriously,
That's crazy.
It is.
she worked.
Selling it on the black market. You want Britney Spears' blood?
Ew.
Someone out there would want it. I mean, someone wanted a vagina smelling candle. So
That's true.
that is still blows my mind.
Yeah, but it was Gwyneth's.
Yeah, but it was Gwyneth.
It's all in how you say
I
it.
think it smells good now. Wait till I light it on fire.
Is that pepper?
One other thing, and I just another comment from our previous episode is someone said to follow her former makeup artist on Instagram, and that's at Billy B Makeup, because apparently he released a lot of his personal thoughts and opinions and stuff from his personal relationship with Britney. Mm-hmm. I went to go check out his Instagram because I was like, oh, it's private. So you have to request a follow. So I'm sure he has like some sort of...
How many followers?
Like millions. I think it was like 3.8 or something like that. Oh, JK, 52,000. Anyway.
Oh, man.
I puffed him up a little bit. That's fine.
He'll get there.
But either way, I'm curious to see if he accepts, and I really want to check out his stuff because that's wild.
Yeah, well, his sister came out and said that she supports him, or supports her as well.
Yeah, her sister, I guess, has kind of disowned the family and has been quiet about a lot of stuff.
What's her name again?
Isn't it
Jamie
Jamie?
Lynn.
Jamie Lynn
Yeah.
But the father's also named
is Jamie.
Yes.
Jamie.
Okay, that's why I was about to ask, because I was like, I swear her name was Jamie, but okay.
Yeah, Jamie and Jamie Lynn.
Now Brittany's boyfriend is Sam Asghari. Is that how you say his last name?
I don't know.
Now do you know how they know each other? He was a dancer on one of her performances, and they kind of met through that way.
Like in 2018? Or
I don't know
earlier?
when. I don't know at what point, but I know that that's how they met, and they've had that relationship. And now in that release, all she mentions is all I want to do is ride in the car with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
And go have fun.
Yeah.
Or what is it? Yeah.
She can't even do that by herself.
That's so ridiculous.
She wants to have babies. She
Yeah.
can't even get her IUD out.
Yeah, they got a forced IUD in her.
That's one of the most insane
That's
things
messed
of
up.
all of this is that she has an IUD that she cannot go to the doctor to get removed. And she's not allowed to have babies or get married.
It just doesn't even make sense.
Like how can you control someone like that? How is that?
You're right. It doesn't make sense at all.
None of it does.
How is there not some sort of check and balance in this? I feel like it's all so one-sided.
Uh-huh.
I know from our view looking in, to me, it's like common sense that it's like, isn't there somebody with some form of power and like authority to be able to step in and do something? Like, this is obviously very, very public. Everybody is starting to hear about this, that there's got to be somebody out there that can just step in and say, all right, we're done here, and just do something.
I hope it's just a matter of time now,
Either way, it's ridiculous
Yeah.
that there's not some sort of check.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like it's there has to be something. I'm trying to remember if somebody so
I know.
So Senator Elizabeth Warren on Thursday asked the federal government to provide more data and improve oversight on conservatorships, saying recent revelations about Britney Spears' plight has highlighted how the system can strip people of their basic rights. So it has caught the attention of the senators
Federal government.
and federal government to hopefully do something, like maybe even move in and just kind of rewrite the laws around conservatorships.
Well, yeah, but at the government speed, we'll be there in 50 years?
Yeah, and I mean, Elizabeth Warren sucks, so.
That's one of those things too. How much federal government do you want impeding?
And how much, and here's the other thing, how do we know that she's not just doing this for clout? She's just trying to gain popularity. Look at me, I'm saving Britney with all you people. She's the whitest person I've ever seen.
Yeah.
That's another story for another day. I can't stand her. I can't stand Elizabeth Warren. I got the insight. Oh Oh gosh.
Now, on the flip side, like let's take devil's advocate. Let's say she is crazy.
Okay.
What then?
He still shouldn't get what
Yeah.
he's getting out of the conservatorship.
Like even at this point in time, say she does require a conservatorship, which if the claim was that she had dementia at 26, that's asinine.
Yeah.
You know, dementia though, I've always heard that it slowly kills you because your body will eventually just shut down. Your body gives up and it kills you eventually. And so if she truly had dementia, her body would start to show signs of it. This long into it, what'd we say, 2008? So is that when they said she had dementia was in 2008?
Yeah.
So 2008. So we're, what is that? 12, 13 years. 13 years of dementia is going to do some damage.
And that's where I think he was getting at with that.
Yeah.
Is that you would have something by now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This says the average person lives 4 to 8 years after receiving the diagnosis.
Oh, fantastic.
It does say
3
some
times
people
that.
live as many as 20 years after their diagnosis.
Now, the
But
excuse
average is 4 to 8.
the excuse could be given. So like you said, Austin, that, if she truly has it, she's the youngest person on record to ever have it. It could also be that, well, she's obviously not showing any signs and living longer because of her age. Maybe it has the effects of, breaking down the body because normally it does affect older people who are already kind of on the downhill slope. But
I mean,
don't know.
on the flip side, though. Oh shoot! I just lost my thought. What was it?
Catch it. Find it.
Oh,
Where's
no.
that? Float around. Wave it back to him.
Oh no! Oh, I forgot it. Go ahead. I'll catch up. I promise.
Something about dementia.
So also on the devil's advocate side of it, what if, so you talking about that politician lady, I don't know her name, but how you said she's just trying to do it for clout. What if Britney's just doing this all for clout?
But for 13 years?
Well, I mean, it's keeping her in the spotlight.
Well, not really, because nobody was talking about this until
No,
a couple
that's
years
true.
ago, until like 2018, 19.
And like Chris said, I mean, it comes down to the money too. Like,
But also, like, I don't like.
if I was a conservator over my daughter truly for her health, I wouldn't expect a dime.
Yeah.
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 I thought of it. Sorry.
Go.
If it was dementia, shouldn't she be diagnosed with dementia? Is it only been a claim?
I mean, that's the first I'd ever heard of it. Like, nobody talks about her having
They
dementia.
should be very easily able to diagnose dementia if it is a real and true thing.
Should be a paper trail.
Easy.
Yeah.
But
But again, we don't know how deep this goes. Like,
Yeah.
if doctors are on the payroll of everyone, essentially
Gosh.
is in some way or another, whether it be with money, blackmail, whatever.
It just doesn't make sense. No matter how you try to go around it, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, she says
to-
if I'm able to make money for myself and pay the people who are around me all the time, why should I be in a conservatorship?
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, she's coherent, she's able to work for money and use that money.
She's the sole person working, like the sole circle of this thing making money, and everybody's making money but her.
Off of her.
Yeah.
The one video you were watching before we started recording, they called her an industry.
Yeah.
That she is no longer a person. Now she is just this industry making other people money. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, you can, listening to this, just see that, like, the desperate plea to be free of this.
Yeah.
Like, she wants her life. Like, it sounds like she's poked and prodded constantly. She has no privacy or personal boundaries. She has no decisions that she can make for herself. And the whole time she was convinced that she just needed to tell herself to be happy.
Yeah.
See, and this website says that Jamie reportedly gets $16,000 per month in salary plus an extra $2,000 monthly for office space. So that would be about $18K a month. That's about $210,000 a year.
Okay. So but that's
Not
still a lot.
$600,000, but it's still
$210,000
to do nothing.
basically enslaving your daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. They've turned her into a human battery, is what they've
for
done.
real. They've even injected her with lithium.
Yeah, for real. She's a walking wallet to these people.
An ATM.
That's just sickening.
It is.
So what's next? You said next on the ballot is she's got another follow-up.
Well, yeah, so she went through this whole thing. She mentioned something about Paris Hilton that I didn't fully understand. She said, I didn't want to say it openly because I honestly don't think anyone would believe me. To be honest with you, the Paris Hilton story on what they did to her at that school, I didn't believe any of it. I'm sorry, I'm an outsider, and I'll just be honest. I didn't believe it. So I don't know what the Paris Hilton story is, but
Probably some crazy story that sounded unbelievable at the time to her.
Exactly, kind of like what she's going through.
Yeah.
Like she says she didn't know she could petition the conservatorship to end it. She's sorry for her ignorance. I honestly didn't know that, but honestly, which I don't think I owe anyone to be evaluated. So one of the things of ending the conservatorship is that she goes and is evaluated for, if she's her intelligence, her able to leave the conservatorship. And she's just saying, like, I don't owe it to anybody to prove myself. Like I don't need to be sitting in a room to be evaluated. I've done that more than enough. I don't feel that I should even be in a room with anyone to offend me by trying to question my capacity of intelligence.
And how is it not just a blaring red flag that it's like, okay, well, you need to be evaluated, but you have to be evaluated by the people that the conservatorships choose.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
Like,
Get a third party in here.
That might answer your question about there has to be some therapist. I guarantee the therapist was already rooted into saying, okay, this is what we need you to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Before they're even
They found
brought
the
in.
right ones before they're even brought in. Mm-hmm. Or the wrong ones. You decide. The Paris Hilton thing was she went to boarding school and she was allegedly abused severely in the boarding school. So
like by the staff and stuff.
So she feels relatable in the sense that how she feels so abused and
So what needs to happen is her boyfriend, I've already forgotten his name. He needs to sneak her a microphone, and
Well,
then the footage gets leaked.
Yeah.
I feel like if they met after 2008, which obviously they did, I don't trust the guy. I'm sorry, I don't trust anybody at this point.
And how do you win her shoes? Like, how do you trust anyone?
For real.
Yeah. Because they would have to let him around her.
Yeah.
So was he vetted?
But they're probably never alone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like he might be the ultimate mole as far as like, let's give her a love interest to have at her
It's like
side.
the Truman Show in a sick way.
That's what I was just going to say.
Yeah, exactly. They probably, just like the Truman Show, they picked his wife. He really wanted the other girl, but they threw the blonde on him because she was the better actress, blah, 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 whatever.
The other girl disappeared.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, what if this is that situation? They kind of lined it up so Britney would fall for this guy and he played into it, blah, 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 just to have that love interest and make it seem like, look, you've got a love partner. You've got a partner, someone you can really confide in. Vent to him about everything. Tell him your thoughts, blah, blah, blah. And
give her a sense of complacency with it.
Well, and think about the double dipping he could do, right? Like, he could play both sides of the field. Mm-hmm. And if everything falls apart, marry me and I got millions.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
he's got the best of it all.
Yeah. That makes me not like him.
Yeah. Right? We just riled ourselves up in the Well, I mean, going to your guys' point, she talks about how it makes no sense that California can just sit back and watch with their own two eyes her make a living for so many people and pay so many people, trucks and buses on tour on the road with her, and then be told that she's not good enough, even though she's great at what she does, and then allow these people to control her, and all at the same time paying these people. How that is just so insane to me. And like she even mentions that she wants to sue her family for doing nothing, and like we said, she just wants her boyfriend to drive her in his effing car.
Yeah,
she just wants to drive around, be alone with her boyfriend,
and make a baby,
have a family,
have basic human rights.
Yep,
garbage.
And her dream is that this conservator end without her being tested. Like she just wants out.
Who wouldn't? That poor soul.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, so the next judge or the next trial is when? You said July this month?
I said mid-July. Mm-hmm.
So hopefully some good news comes out mid-July.
It'll probably be close to the time this episode releases. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Seeing the history, I doubt it.
Listen, this is one. We mentioned this doctor earlier, and I just want to bring this little thing she said. So Dr. Benson, the guy who died, he illegally abused her through the treatment that he gave her. And she says, and I quote, "And to be totally honest with you, when he passed away, I got on my knees and thanked God." In other words, my team is pushing it with me again. But anyway, that's the next thought, I guess. But she got on her knees and thanked God that he died because of the way he was abusing her with his treatments.
That's crazy.
Oh, man.
Mostly because she wouldn't have to see him again.
Oh, exactly. She wouldn't be abused by this guy. But then again, she is forced, another doctor. Like she doesn't get to choose, has no say in it whatsoever, has no choice in her attorneys.
Seeing a therapist is somebody you should truly be able to confide in because you're opening up. You're giving them all your deep, dark thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And I mean, on the
Billy B makeup just followed me back.
That's kind of ironic.
Oh, Billy
crazy because I just requested like a little while ago. So that's crazy. Deep diving. We're gonna go.
She even mentions that she could even do with like a 2 or 3 year break. She's like, I deserve to have a life. I've worked my whole life. I deserve to have a 2 to 3 year break and just, do what I want to do. But I do feel like there's this crutch here, and I feel open and I'm okay to talk with you today about it. But I wish I could stay with you on the phone forever, because when I get off the phone with you, all of a sudden I hear these no's, no, 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 and all of a sudden I get ganged up on, and she feels bullied. She feels left out and alone, and she's tired of feeling alone. And she said, I deserve to have the same rights as anybody else does by having a child, a family, any of those things, and more so. And that's all I wanted to say to you. And thank you so much for letting me speak to you today.
It's crazy.
Crazy.
Can't even get an IUD out. Like, this is nuts.
That's crazy.
Well, that's depressing.
Let her go.
Do you remember that viral video of the one kid under the sheet for whatever reason crying, "Leave Britney alone"?
That is more relevant now than it ever has been.
Right?
That dude knew right off in the
knew.
beginning.
Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Jeez.
That's crazy. All right. Well, hopefully by the time this airs, or next week, or sometime here in July, we get some great news.
Yeah.
Based on the history of this whole thing, highly doubting it, because it seems like a lot of people are getting paid.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll just keep fighting the good fight and hoping for the best news ever. And free Britney.
Free Britney.
Free Britney.
Free Britney.
Free Britney.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Not Willie. Go ahead. I'll let you say. Go ahead.
Free Willy.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to send it to change it
Oh.
to free
Britney.
There you go.
I just imagined her like swimming and jumping over.
Right? Big old Britney Spears.
And it's the five of us on that
Michael
rock.
Jackson
Yes.
singing.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Five's a Crowd. We hope to see you here next time, and take care.
Thank you.
Thanks for being part of this crowd.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
Bye.